This is absolutely beautiful.
Remember what my key word was earlier on today? Compromise.
I'm her father, yeah. I'm going to give her the day that she wants to have.
Do you feel a sense of relief yet, or are you still a bit...
No, I'm still a bit... Have we done the right thing?
I'm Lucy Elliott, founder of thechiefbridesmaid.co.uk and an expert in budget weddings. Did you know that the average wedding these days costs a whopping £21,000? That to me seems like an awful lot of money, and so in this brand new series I'm going to show you how to do it on a lot less. Welcome to 3 Grand Weddings. I've challenged 3 couples who are getting married in the next 3 months to budget their wedding on just £3,000. Each week leading up to the wedding, they will focus on a different aspect of their day and be marked on how much money they've saved and how creatively they've done it. The winning couple will get the honeymoon of their dreams. But there's a twist. It's not going to be the couples planning their wedding day. It's going to be left to their friends and family. Think they can do it? There's only one way to find out. We had hundreds of applications for this series, and so choosing just 3 was not easy. But after careful consideration, here are our lucky couples. Our first couple are Katie and Jeff, who live with their gorgeous 10-month-old baby Jaden in Leatherhead, Surrey. Jeff helps to make artificial limbs, and Katie used to work in IT before being made redundant.
So, Katie, I understand you've had a bit of bad luck recently.
Yes, well, bad luck and good luck. Obviously, I had my son and that was great, but while on maternity leave I was made redundant. All plans for wedding and everything sort of had to go out the window a bit.
Oh, how far had you got down the line with organising things?
We'd started looking at you know, venues. We'd sort of booked the church, we'd started looking at dresses and things.
Right.
That sort of all came to an abrupt end, and obviously we've heard about Jeff as well.
Yeah, I think the same thing could be happening to me in 3 months. I think I'm going to lose my job too through redundancy.
Oh, well, it's good that the wedding planning's back on. What's your sort of idea of a dream wedding? Have you had sort of a dream you've harboured since childhood, or...?
We're quite traditional, so, you know, the nice sort of ivory gown and smart suit and nice flowers and...
With such a small budget, what aspects of your wedding would you be happy to forego?
As long as we've got a nice place, we'd be quite happy to cut a bit back on everything and just have a nice, even day, you know, with a little bit of everything rather than going mad luxury on any one thing, so...
What do you think you're most likely to disagree on?
I think the amount of people that are actually involved in the day. We've got so many nieces and nephews.
Yeah, it's hard.
Jeff, Katie, I think we've got a great idea on what you want for your wedding day. Let's go and have a chat to your wedding team and see what they think.
Katie and Jeff's team are mother and father of the bride, Phil and Jill, mother of the groom, Anita, Katie's auntie Carol, Jeff's best friend Roger and Katie's best friend Michaela. They're lucky enough to have Emily Ianu from Ianu Wedding and Events to help them with the planning. Couple number 2 are South London Nigerian couple Chickadilly and Nkem. They both share the same job working as BBC World journalists. Let's just hope they share the same taste in weddings. So, how did you guys meet?
Basically, we both had blogs. Don't laugh, you're making it sound so... And we both had blogs, and we basically started, you know, emailing each other from about March or so?
Yeah, about March.
Yeah, about
I thought
March.
you were a bit conceited.
Yeah. and the first time she said that to me, I was offended.
And then, how did you propose?
I took her to the top of the hill, just near us here. It looked great and everything, and she liked it. And she said, turn around and said, okay, let's go now. And then just as she did that, I said, hold on a second. And then I went on one knee.
In the snow?
It wasn't snowing yet, but it was really cold. The ground was
so
wet.
cold.
By the time I got up, I had like patches of water on my knees. And just as I was popping the question, there was a woman who was walking her dog right there. So the dog was like sniffing around us.
She was throwing balls with her dog, and the dog left her. She went, "Oh, just ignore it.
She said,
just ignore it."
I think she said, ignore it. It just wants to share in the moment.
Yeah.
The dog was called Bertha. Yeah.
Now, for the wedding, What are you thinking about for that?
We've decided to invite about 150 people.
About 150.
We decided on 100.
No, no. Can you turn off the cameras for a second, Mama?
Yeah. We decided on 100.
No, we didn't. We said 150.
No.
I guess you've just got to be realistic on such a small
Yes,
budget.
I'm sorry.
Every person you have, it's going to limit how much you can do. So what do you want?
Not a lot of frills, just a lot of attention to detail that comes from people caring about what they're doing. Something that comes from the heart, I think. You don't need to make a cake. You can get a cake, like plain iced cake from like M&S.
Yeah.
Tesco. Put your team colours on it. It's fine, you know? Champagne, we don't need champagne. We can get like sparkly wine or whatever.
Yeah, that's a really
not
good way of saying
that. That's not a big deal. Probably will not have a full sit-down affair. We might have like a buffet thing with like half the staff, so they won't be like waiting staff or anything, but just to serve people. Yeah.
I think we've made a fabulous start, and it's now time to meet your wedding team.
So with all their family abroad, their team is made up of friends Opemi, Miriam, Vera, Jade and Enkem's cousin Uche. Temple Gregory's top wedding planner, Becky Gregory, will be helping this team out. Couple number 3 are Martine and Jay from Wantage in Oxfordshire. Martine is an animal chiropractor and Jay is a landscape gardener. They've known each other for a long time but lost touch for over 20 years. That is, until one fateful day on the internet.
So, Martine, Jay, where did you guys meet?
We've, first met at school. I used to plague something rotten on the bus.
Yep.
Yeah, we sort of lost contact, really, didn't we?
Yeah, you were a couple of years above me, so I don't think we sort of left together, so we didn't really feel the need to stay in contact.
Right.
Yeah, I was living in Australia. I'd been over there 12 months or more.
And then how did you hook up again?
It was a networking site, wasn't it? A very well-known networking site. Yeah, send you a message and it sort of went from there, really.
One message to 20 a day, morning and night, because of course the time difference.
Because of the time difference, you used to get up
6 o'clock in the morning, and I'd
to
speak to you at night, and then you'd get up in the morning, and it'd be night here, so it's sort of like that's how we used to talk. In the middle of the day, you wouldn't get anything.
No.
And then what happened from there?
I decided I'd come back and give up to Australia. And
came back and
got together, didn't we?
Dated, and sort of fairly soon decided that, everything was right.
Tell me what would be your perfect wedding day.
I think just to have all our family there, like not the big white wedding, too serious, sort of more fun. And
yeah, we're sort of looking, or we've juggled a few ideas, like the country type theme. We'd like to maybe incorporate, because we've got horses, and maybe sort of try and incorporate them into it, riding off into the sunset type thing.
And what things aren't you too bothered about? What ways do you think you might be able to sort of make the most of your budget? What aspects are you willing to cut out?
I don't know, try and maybe make things or help our friends and family, get them to help us more, rather than having to go to a shop and buy the most expensive or the best thing that there is. Just to sort of, and more to have it as sentimental type thing, so if people help us, it's far better than saying, right, I'm going to
it certainly means more than spending any amount of money, really. Just sort of,
So, Martine, Jay, it sounds like you're both after the same sort of wedding, which is great. You've got your team organised, so now it sounds like we ought to start planning.
Martine and Jay's team are Martine's mum Sue, Jay's brother and best man Simon, his partner Hayley, Martine's sister Debbie and Simon's best friend James. They are joined by expert wedding planner Sandy Moretta, owner of Turn Events. Coming up after the break, our team search for the perfect wedding venue and the couples are in for a shock.
Choosing a wedding venue will be one of the biggest determining costs in the price of your big day. Combined with the catering, it will use a whopping 50% of your overall budget, so it's a hugely important decision. The best piece of advice I can give is to shop around. Don't just look into places that market themselves as wedding venues. Why not look at renting your favourite restaurant? Or if not your favourite restaurant, how about your local pub? If you're after a more relaxed and casual affair, or you're getting married in the winter months, what better way than to create a cosy, intimate reception? Finally, it's worth noting that many wedding receptions offer discounts during the working week, particularly Monday to Thursdays, or out of season in the autumn and winter months. So my advice is shop around and ask the right questions, and you'll be amazed at how much you can save. Now let's see if any of the wedding teams have followed my advice.
NChem and Chickadilly's team begin the hunt for venues. First up, a local church that holds a special place in their heart.
We like it. I mean, this is where we go to church, so it's, you know, it'll feel very natural for us to get married here.
We'll go along here. When we reach here, we turn. This is in the way, don't worry. We turn, and there's a fountain here. As you reach the font, you face the altar.
So the church is obviously looking a bit different from how it normally looks at the moment.
Oh yes, because we're having festival here, so it looks a bit different. Next weekend, it would be just what you would like to see or what you would like to want.
So for a registry office, it's normally about £100, isn't it? How much is it for a church wedding?
For a church wedding, you're looking from about £300. And plus you've got your other fees on top if you wanted bell ringers. So I mean, yes, it is more expensive. I mean, the other possibility would be to have a registry office wedding and have a blessing in your church. And I think you guys are pretty set on your church wedding, aren't you?
Yep.
So but we can work around it and save in other ways, definitely.
With their hearts set on a church wedding, it looks like some of that budget's gone already. Will our second couple be more open to money-saving suggestions?
So, Katie, obviously you've got a bar here. You can arrange the tables however you want. You've got a little platform up there, so you could have the top table up there, or you could leave that space for a disco or the DJ, or that sort of thing. It only holds, I think, 75 people maximum to sit down, but it can hold standing up 110. I know that's a little bit lower than your numbers.
Just getting my head around the sort of size of it, but it's this is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, halls I have been looking at, which aren't half as nice actually, they've been asking for as much as £500. With this place actually, there's not a venue hire charge. So what they do, it's all about the catering here. So you'll have your cost, you've got all your kitchens there, you'll choose your menu, etc., but you won't have to pay a venue hire.
The only reservations that I have, it is a little narrow and a long way out for people that don't drive.
A great find from Emily, and cheap too. But will the wedding team go for it? No need to make any hasty decisions just yet, though. Now to Oxfordshire.
So Martine and Jay, here we are at venue number 1, which is Lane's Barn. And what are your first impressions?
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, very nice, rustic.
And what do the rest of the team think?
It's nice.
I like
It
it,
looks
yeah.
nice, yeah. I like the setting.
Should we go and have a look?
Yep.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hello.
Out here, if it's a nice day, you get served welcome drinks on trays from our bar staff. Underneath here, you can have things like hog roasts, barbecues. Right, this is the bar area, and this is where, when your guests arrive, they come here to have a welcome drink. The ceremony is held in the main barn area, so everyone would just gather in here until you're due to arrive.
If we choose to pay just for corkage, does that include the cost of the bar staff?
Yes, yeah, the bar staff still come free.
Right.
You get them no matter how you do it. This is the main hall. Now in here you can seat 120 people. If you have a ceremony in here as well, your ceremony table will be just there. In the summer you can have these barn doors open. They both open, and you can have those open during your ceremony as well. From Monday to Thursday it's $464.25 plus VAT.
Right.
On a Saturday it's $1,350 plus VAT. So you are looking at a huge saving.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper to book the venue midweek. A good tip. But Jay has an even better idea.
I didn't know if we could sort of work something out for me doing works here and get some money off that way, or...
It could be something we're interested in, but you just have to give me an email because I'd have to run it through the trustees of the company.
Okay, brilliant.
But email me and I can let you know as soon as I can if it's something we can do.
What a great idea. I wonder if our London team has any money-saving tips up their sleeve.
When you're out this staircase, it's awesome.
Yeah. I think this is fab, guys. Look at the lights.
I know, I love
If we come to the left first, this room is where you would have the reception drinks when we initially arrive at the venue. But it's amazing. Look at the views and these lovely big windows. They're really flexible in terms of decoration as well. She said we can go mad with candles, which is lovely. So this is the bar area. So they're both quite small rooms, but with everyone spread across, I think it's fine. So I think it'd be great for photos as well. Isn't it amazing? Look at the lights. So you could have round tables set up all over there. And then she said that you'd have the DJ or band over here, and this would be your dance floor area. Guys, there's one thing that I have to bring to your attention about this venue. Just bear in mind how much you love it. They can only do it within our budget for 100 people. Remember what my key word was earlier on today? Compromise.
Yeah.
Just, you've just got to think how fabulous the venue is and what you can get for your money.
For me, no. 100, even when we said 120, even that is really, really pushing it.
So 120 would be your minimum.
A typical Nigerian wedding is small if it's got 500 guests.
Now, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but you just really need to work with the budget you've got, unfortunately.
NChem and Chickadilly are still torn over the numbers, but remember, the decision is not theirs, and they'll soon find this out. For now, back to Oxfordshire.
So, Martine and Jay, here we are at venue number 2, Ardington House. Obviously looks quite different from the last venue. Should we go on in?
Hello, how do you do? Very nice to meet you.
I'm Lucy.
The happy couple. Yeah. Congratulations to you both. Do come in. Welcome to Ardington House. Now, this is perhaps the most famous part of Ardington House, is this imperial staircase, which is the oldest in the country. When you consider all those years ago, they've almost allocated a third of the room, over 2/3 of the room, for the purposes of getting upstairs. But should you decide to marry him, and I say that to all grooms to keep them on their toes, should you decide to marry him, imagine coming gliding down these stairs. He waits down here for the single moment, 10 minutes prior to your arrival. I whisper in his ear, it's not looking good. And that just focuses him on the glow of pride when you arrive down there. And together, the ceremony takes place between the stairs. Now, this is a room for the purposes of reception, and I quite like to display the cake in here. But through the window there is the temple, and that, I think, is the next thing I'd like to show you. Walking the gangplank. Now, this is the temple. Now, the ceremony itself is only 8 minutes, so in reality, after 4 minutes, you're actually signing the register. And then should you decide to arrive by boat, then you can moor on there and then come together, which again is quite nice. But the idea of water may not appeal to you.
So, I think I've found the house I want to live in when I grow up, but is it right for your wedding?
I think it covers every tick box of that. We don't want, we don't want, we don't want.
It's far too formal, it's far too
It's a lovely place and the grounds are absolutely beautiful, but to me it's sort of almost everything's going to be about you've got to have this picture in this place and do this now, and it's...
I mean, everything you were saying about not having a traditional white wedding in a sort of staid country home, this seems to represent.
So it's not what the couples want. Soon it won't be their choice anyway. But for now, what will Katie and Jeff think of the next venue? So, Katie, Jeff, this is venue number 2, which is the Bookham Grange Hotel. What are your initial thoughts?
Very nice.
Lovely, yeah.
Very beautiful.
Nice.
Literally, as soon as we pulled up, Jeff said, didn't you? It's really pretty.
Good afternoon, Katie.
Hi.
Welcome to Bookham Grange. Good afternoon, Jeff. I'm Mark Reynolds. Just in here is our Wedgwood room. So, whilst this is set up slightly different at the moment, there'd be chairs and then an aisle at the middle. The registrar would be at the end there.
The number of people, the package that's being offered is 1,995, and that's based on 50 people.
You know, if we had sort of ones, for example, that wouldn't even be eating because they're children, could they come along on top of the 50, if you know what I mean?
Providing it's not incurring anything as far as we're concerned.
I mean, for example,
Yes.
my baby won't be eating, so...
Coming into the outside, all being well, it'll be a lovely sunny day.
Yep.
You've got this beautiful patio just here.
Is it possible to set up chairs here, maybe? Or something?
No, you wouldn't be licensed to get married outside. No, it's purely on the inside.
Okay.
Besides the British weather. I can have a word with him up there, but it doesn't always work.
So, Katie, Jeff, you've had a look around the venue. What did you think?
Absolutely wonderful.
Oh, lovely place, yeah. Definitely.
Really gorgeous, wasn't it? As soon as we both saw it, we were both like, this is lovely.
Yeah.
But it's not without its drawbacks, is it?
Yeah, it's a big chunk of our budget.
Big chunk, and the
Big
numbers.
chunk. And the numbers, yeah. I mean, we could only have 50 people to the main wedding. We could have more to a reception.
It sounds like you guys need to go home and do a bit of number crunching, work out what your priorities are, whether it's having more guests there or whether it's having your dream fairy tale venue.
The couples have seen some great venues, but now is the time to reveal the surprise.
I do have a bit of a surprise for you. It's not going to be you guys organising your wedding. It's going to be your team. Oh. There is a way that you can win points for your team, and it's all going to be dependent on your first dance.
Lost them. We won't even bother entering.
Should we show them what we've got so far?
We'll go towards the final competition.
Coming up, it's now up to our teams to choose the venue, and it won't be as easy as it seems.
You really don't know her that well.
With the couples no longer making decisions, it's up to their teams to pick a perfect wedding venue. So we start in London with an unorthodox venue, a local community centre.
So, ladies, from this point onwards, Chickadilly and Nkem are going to have nothing to do with their wedding. It's all down to you. How are you feeling?
Excited, yes, absolutely.
Are you up for a challenge?
Yeah, why not?
Let's go.
How do you do?
So is this is a converted church?
It was built as a church.
Right. And that's lovely.
That's why you've got the stained glass window.
It's so lovely and colourful.
Would you want to go through these doors into there? I'm afraid there's a group in there at the moment that are a bit rowdy.
Hopefully these ladies won't be extra guests. It's an unusual wedding venue and it's cheap, but it would need a lot of work.
Well, this place certainly seems to have a lot of potential if you guys can get your creative hats on and your vision in place.
Are the team up for that big a challenge? We'll leave them to think about it while we move to Oxfordshire. Although Martine and Jay didn't want a church wedding, Mum Sue has fallen in love with this quaint building.
So this is Catmore Church. As I said, it's on the middle of a farm, as all churches used to be. I don't think it even has a footpath to it.
So, Sue, are all the wedding guests quite agile?
Well, I think our family are okay. I don't know about Jay's family.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, we've got nobody sort of would struggle with that walk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just me and my stilettos then.
Yes, well, maybe. Well, this is inside the church.
Oh, Sue, this is gorgeous. It's so sweet. And you think 100 fit in here, yeah?
I'm sure that's what the vicar's told them, 100 at a squeeze, but it would mean standing.
Okay. It is fabulous.
It's tiny.
Yeah, it's small, but nice, quaint.
Can you see your brother here? I mean, when you think that we started off with, we don't want a church, do you think this is the sort of rustic, rural feel that he wouldn't mind? He wouldn't feel that it was very austere?
I think he would favour to this more than maybe a more modern church.
Yes, okay, lovely.
Yeah.
It would be £254 to get married here in the simplest of ways and have Martine and Jay's banns read.
I don't think we ought to make our mind just because we're here.
Yeah.
I think we need to discuss things, yes.
It is lovely, but the couple really didn't want a church wedding. Over in Surrey, the team are looking at an altogether different church.
Hi, thank you. All right, this is Leatherhead Church, and we basically picked this because Jill and I got married here. All our children have been christened here. It's not quite as old as Mickleham, but I think you'll see it's actually bigger.
Yeah, it's a huge church, isn't it?
It's old, 1086, 20 years after the Battle of Hastings. Here. The ceremony would take place here.
I can see only one disadvantage, which is girls in stilettos will fall Yes, through great. I was looking at that.
So my stilettos won't go through.
Yes, that's it.
What do you actually think of, what does everyone think of the church itself?
It's lovely. It's lovely, it's really lovely.
That's why it would be nice to have people here.
Absolutely.
Everyone likes it. Could it be our team have found their ceremony venue? What will they make of Emily's suggestion for the reception?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Chris.
Hi there, Emily.
Nice to meet you. Hello, Chris.
Nice to meet you.
Wow.
The bride and groom will probably come in this way, yes?
Phil, there is a partition there, so if obviously, you know, we're not having that many so it doesn't look too big, you can partition part of the room off.
Yes.
This room's also the room for the ceremony as well. So with it being down there, so Katie and Jeff will be there, and then they'll have the long gap there and the chairs either side.
Isn't it gorgeous?
It's a beautiful garden. Would they be able to have the champagne drinks out here?
Yes, it is possible. We tend to do this sort of things.
It's just beautiful. And it's great for the kids as well.
Depending on what the deal is here, and I can't remember what you told us.
£1,750.
Yeah.
That is for 75 people for a sit-down. That's a 2-course meal and half a bottle each.
£1,700 is way over half the budget. Let's hope they don't make any rash decisions, or they could be struggling later. Over in Oxfordshire, they found a venue that's free, but it's not quite as good as it sounds.
Wow!
Well, it's certainly rustic. What are your reactions, Simon?
Yeah, very rustic, but I think it is in keeping with what they're looking for.
They normally have the bar here. They also have a big carpet. I think there's a big carpet rolled up there, which fits over this area. Okay. So you can have your tables and chairs actually on a carpet.
Right.
Okay, and you've now got this area out here where we could have the hog roast. Oh, there's your water. This is your water supply. It is only cold water, but what they've done before is had a big urn, you know, for tea and coffee. Yeah.
And so you guys seem up for a challenge, converting this into a beautiful, beautiful fairy tale venue.
Yeah, yeah.
Any hesitation at all?
None.
No, none for me.
Good to see they're up for a challenge, but Len's Barn have agreed for Jay to do the maintenance work, and of course the venue choice is supposed to be a surprise.
We're hoping that this is going to be a big surprise for the bride and groom. Now, of course, to do the work prior to the wedding would mean that it's not a surprise for the groom. That said, this gentleman over here, Simon, is the groom's brother, so maybe it could be kind of part before, part after, just to keep the surprise for Jay. So I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, we've looked at what we might want to do with the offer you have. Now, our main concern would suit that scenario well, because we would like to get all the undergrowth and the undercroft of the entrance cleared. Okay, so what we're looking for really is to get the undergrowth cleared and the fallen timbers got rid of for a fair distance up the road, perhaps 300 metres.
Simon, how does that sound to you?
Yeah, sounds good. It's good for us, especially if we can get the venue.
What a great idea, swapping work for venue hire, and a great tip to remember. But is this definitely the venue for them? Over in London, our team are checking out another novel venue.
Hello, pleased to meet you. Welcome to Haberdashers. If you have the venue here, then this is the way that you would come in. So from the church, then you could come up here. You could have tables there with drinks then.
which would be quite nice for people to just pick up and walk into the hall.
I was thinking, guys, because this is so close to the church, we're literally a stone's throw, I thought it might be quite fun if we did go with this venue to have maybe a Chickadilly and a lollipop lady. So have someone standing in the middle of the road with a little sign, matching our colour scheme, just directing everyone over the road. It'll be a lot cheaper than hiring a bus or transport.
Wow.
Oh, brilliant.
So it is Hogwarts.
Yeah. How many people do you get seated in this room?
Well, it depends how you want to lay it out,
Yeah.
but comfortably 150.
It has a lot of character.
It does have character.
It looks lovely when it's done. It really does look nice.
Would our bride be able to sit on the throne?
Yes, if she
one of
wanted. We don't. Well, actually, I do have one down at the other school.
Do you?
And I could get it up for you.
You don't have kitchen facilities?
We don't have kitchen facilities, but here we have a classroom. This is a room for the food or drinks.
Oh, wow. That's a really good space, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be really useful.
Yeah.
With all the venues seen, it's time to make the decision.
It's decision time. Which venue are we going to go for?
Compared to the Trafalgar Tavern, I would say this is the best of the three we've seen. Definitely can take more people and it's flexible in terms of catering.
I do like the venue. I mean, I liked the Trafalgar. It was a nice venue. It had a lot of light, and this place I think can have a lot of light exposed into it as well. I'm not the one going to be here in terms of it's not my day, it's somebody else's day, so I have to think about it seriously. I have to give it some thought. I mean, it's obviously, it's got win-win everywhere, but you know, you have to ask the questions, you have to weigh it up.
Sure. I think my advice would be this is the best venue that we've seen. You've got to kind of see the whole picture. And practicality is a major issue with 150 people and on our budget. It's so close to the church, it's so close to the couple's house in terms of them getting here.
Perhaps we just ought to talk about the expense issue. If we do go for this venue, which is more expensive, it does mean that Chickadilly won't have such an expensive wedding dress. And we may have to make cutbacks in terms of bridesmaids and decorations.
I think, though, that we're quite lucky with this wedding because Chickadilly does not want bridesmaids. She doesn't want tiara, she doesn't want a veil. She's quite happy with a simple dress. So I think that frees up more money to get the right venue, with the flexibility to have the caterers we want, with the flexibility to have the numbers that they so want. And also being so close to the church, I think it's just a no-brainer, really.
I think it is a good find.
Say yes, just say yes.
Oh, no, I said yes.
Good. We've got a unanimous vote. Well done, team. Well done.
One down, two to go. The Surrey team are looking at one more venue before making their choice.
Well, it's certainly very nice, but how would it work as a wedding venue?
Well, actually, they do quite a lot of weddings here. Yeah, they bring the tables in from the restaurant and they make tables all around here.
Okay, so the seating would be quite different
No,
from how we see it at the moment.
absolutely, yeah. All these would go, and the tables and chairs from the restaurant would come here, and then the top table generally up there.
And how would the pricing work for somewhere like this?
For £1,500, they'll do a sit-down meal for 100 people. So, you know... 3 courses.
3 courses
yeah.
for 100 people, so...
Yeah, they're quite reasonable and they're very, very flexible here. They've got a really great range of food as well.
Summer wedding, I don't think so. I think for the small difference, well, relatively small difference between here and Preston Cross. Preston Cross is a lot nearer. It's got the lovely lawns that they can have all the photographs on. It's got the gazebo,
more parking,
and far easier probably to find. To me, it's got to be Mickleham Church and Preston Cross.
So this venue's definitely out then. Where will they choose?
Well, I mean, I really love the church, and I think if we could get it in the budget, I'd like, you know, I think the church is really pretty. The reason why I think the Preston Cross ceremony room would work is because we wouldn't have to pay more money, for the flowers at the church. It would all be there. The flowers and the decoration we're using for the wedding breakfast we could use for the ceremony. So you're cutting your costs,
Plus, I like the idea of it all in one place. As soon as they have the ceremony...
I hate
Right, okay.
I mean, I absolutely loathe the idea of being in one place. The whole reason for having two places is the bride and groom come out of the church, they get in a car and they go away and then meet their guests at the reception. I think if I was getting married again to Jill, there is no way that I'd have the same venue. Ever. I'm vehemently
But I really
am.
understand that, and I really like the idea of the church. I'm just worried about the budget, and we have got a budget to stick to. So, you know, and if everything else,
if
the
something
dress...
else has got to be cut somewhere or whatever, do that. I really do know what Kate would like, and she would really like a picturesque church like that. Not overly religious, but just about right.
I just want it to be the best for Katie and Jeff, and I'm, you know, it's just the budget.
You'll be
That's all.
sacrificing a lot to make it happen. You'll
Yes.
be sacrificing potentially having a professional makeup artist, having their hair done, accessories. They'll be cutting the cost of the dress, potentially no evening buffet.
She wants a traditional church wedding, but not overly religious, her exact words. Now, okay, when she saw the Grange, what she was thinking of is the Grange, and why she was so excited about it, because it was such a difference to the Barley Mow. The Barley Mow was awful, quite honestly. I think it was...
It wasn't.
It was awful.
Just small.
Barley Mow and the Grange, no comparison. I mean, you're comparing chalk and cheese.
But to be fair, I mean, I think if we'd gone for the Barley Mow, we were only using a third of the budget. And obviously what's important to Katie, she could have spent a lot more on. So, you know, to then go to the Book and Grange, it was a lot less people.
Because Kate's hair, makeup and dress is what's important to Kate.
So to show the variation.
Not as opposed to the whole day. You don't know, you really don't know her that well.
No, I think I know better than you do.
No.
I know where you're coming from. I really, really, really like the church. I'm just worried about the money, and we have got a budget. I have to worry about the money, Phil. It's here, it's in black and white.
Honestly, you know, I'm her father, yeah. I'm going to give her the day that she wants to have. The money, you can't put a price on a wedding. If we've got to sacrifice £200 here or £50 there, I know what she would want. And I'm going to make sure she gets it one way or the other.
Emily?
Well, then I guess it has to be the church, doesn't it?
So we've agreed our ceremony venue and the reception venue. Well done, guys. Good work.
That was hard work. Will our Oxford team be quite as heated?
Okay, Sue, Simon, it's decision time.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Well, I know now what I
Yes.
think that I would prefer.
I think I do as well, but I think we have to phone our other
Yeah.
team people just to let them know, because my decision has changed from a few days ago till even this afternoon. It's changed since going back to Lanes Barn and looking back at options. Was it Roger we saw? Yes. Was so much more flexible on a lot of the things that we were looking at.
That's the venue they wanted.
Yeah.
So if we can get it, then I think we should.
And I'm sure we
And
can
we
come
can,
and help.
can't we? Yeah,
I mean, I'm
exactly.
hoping my husband's going to say yes.
Yeah,
But I'm
no,
sure
we
he
can,
will.
we can rope people
And I
in. I'm
certainly
sure
will
James
come.
will as
Yes.
well.
Telephone calls? Let's see what the team think. See if they're going to throw a spanner in the works.
Hi Debbie, it's Sue here. We're in the pub discussing the venue. Things have changed in the fact that Lanes Barn has now been offered to us free. Yes, providing the work is done on the trees. We can take the tables and chairs outside. We can more or less have an outdoor wedding. That's right, yes. Okay with you? Good? All right then. Okay, I've got to ring Debbie now. Okay. All right, bye.
What did she think?
I think the clinching thing was that we could go for an outdoor wedding. She just said fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we've got one yes.
Yes, one yes.
One more phone call?
Yes.
Oh yes, anyway. Well, we've been back to Lanes Barn, and basically we've been offered the venue there for nothing, for free, but I have to do the work around Lanes Barn before the actual wedding.
What's she saying?
She's saying, yeah, if we're all in agreement, she's definitely up for Lane's Farm.
Decision made then, is it?
Yeah.
Do you feel a sense of relief yet, or are you still a bit...
No, I'm still a bit... Have we done the right thing?
No, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Good,
Glad we've decided.
Well, you certainly weren't sure about the whole church thing, were you?
No.
So that's part of it, perhaps.
That's it, yeah.
Okay.
We've done.
Coming up, with the venues chosen, I meet Fleur Hagan, owner of Fleur Bridal Boutique in London, to start the judging. Meet Fleur Hagan, owner of Fleur Bridal Boutique in London. She's an expert at knowing what looks good to create a perfect wedding. What will she make of our team's choices, and how will she judge them?
So Fleur, it's Judgment Day. How are you feeling?
I'm really excited. I can't wait to see the footage that you've got and find out what they've all been up to.
Let's have a look.
This is the main hall.
Absolutely beautiful. It's a barn, but it has been decorated up and it's got facilities.
And water and...
Yeah, so it's much more practical choice. They managed to negotiate the price down to nothing.
Right.
And that's on the basis that the groom is a tree surgeon.
Oh, that's
and
a fantastic
so
idea.
is offering his services in exchange, in lieu of payment for the venue. So this is our second couple,
Right.
Katie and Jeff, based in Surrey.
This is such a traditional church, you can see.
And then this is the Preston Cross Hotel.
Wow.
So this hotel are offering a special credit crunch deal.
Fab. Oh, already got a dance floor, it's all set up, it's ready to go.
So now on to our third couple, who are Chickadilly and Enkem. They're our London-based couple. They're both keen churchgoers, and this is their local church, St Catherine's Church.
It's really lovely. Lots of lovely light coming in.
Yeah. And finally, this is Haberdasher's School. It's literally across the road from the church.
That looks fabulous.
It's Hogwarts, isn't it?
It really is.
Now I'm afraid it's time to start marking them.
Yes.
So Katie and Jeff, what would we give them for practicability?
Although they've blown a large amount of their budget, an extraordinary large amount of their budget, they've kind of got everything that they want.
The only slightly unpractical element to this wedding is that they're getting married in a church that's a sort of car drive's distance away. But I don't think they put enough money in their budget for transport, so people will be having to drive themselves to the venue, which means they can't then drink. I think overall I'm going to give them 7 out of 10.
I think that's fair.
Creativity.
Okay, well, I think this is the weakest point for me.
I think it's a sort of a wedding venue that we've all seen before and we won't remember anything original about it. I'm going to give them 4 out of 10.
I think you're being a bit kinder than me, actually, because I'm going to give them 2 out of 10.
Oh, Fleur!
So I think somehow we need to meet in the middle and go with 3.
Finally, value for money.
Where we're seeing a massive difference now in the price range, all right, they've spent £2,271, but they've also covered their catering from there.
So I think I'm going to sit on the fence slightly and give them 6 out of 10.
And I'm going to give them 7 out of 10.
Okay, so we'll meet in the middle, which is 6.5. Now our second couple, Chickadilly and Enkem. How do you think they've got along?
The venue that they've chosen, I think, suits them perfectly.
Practicability. What I love is the fact that the reception venue is a walking distance from the church. You couldn't get any more practical than that. Where the venue falls down is in terms of facilities.
I think for me that they've scored quite highly, actually.
On practicability?
Yes, I do. I'm going to give them 9 out of 10.
I'm going to give them 6 out of 10. But in order to meet you somewhere in the middle, perhaps we should give it 7 out of 10 as well. I'm bartering you down.
I think that's fair enough. Okay.
However, where I will score them much more highly is creativity.
I love their creativity. I think it's fantastic.
So I'm going to give them 9 out of 10.
Me too. I think it's great.
Then finally, value for money. At £600, it's probably slightly cheaper than a typical wedding venue that advertises itself as such. They've managed to negotiate the price down by £100 because they're getting married in September rather than in the peak summer season. So I think I'm going to give them 8 out of 10.
I think that's a really fair score, and I think I'd agree with you.
Our third couple, the Oxfordshire couple, Martine and Jay, they want to keep prices low,
yes,
and they're just thinking creatively around it.
I think purely for the venue hire and the creative side of the venue hire, I'm going to have to give them a 10. Simply because they've just showed so much flair in offering that service in return for a really, really lovely venue. And I don't think we can mark them any lower than that.
OK, I'll go with you on that one then. Practicability. Well, I mean, it is a barn, but it's completely set up for weddings. It's got a kitchen, it's got fully equipped loos. I think 9 out of 10. And then when it comes down to value for money...
I'm going to have to give them a 10. I just think they've done absolutely superbly.
I don't think we can fault them either.
Not at all.
10 out of 10 for Team 3.
Wow.
Well done, Team Martine and Jay.
Very well done.
So the scores after the first week, the Surrey team have 16.5 out of 30. The London team have 24, and in first place the Oxfordshire team with a whopping 29 out of 30. Well done, team. I can't wait for next time when we'll be looking at the catering. Yummy. See you then.
So this is just a mix of milk, Baileys, Kahlua, which is coffee liqueur, and some raw chocolate as well. So some raw chocolate.
If I tried just that, I couldn't tell you really what it is.
We can sit down, we can design your own menu, literally, from start to finish. And then you've got flavours in the menu, and everybody's going to enjoy it. And there's something for everybody. And that's what it's all about.